Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of rawradianthealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So it's Monday, and it's not only Monday, but it's also November 2nd. It's the beginning of a new month, everyone. We're starting afresh yet again. You know, the beginning of the month is always my favorite time of the year or the month, because we get to redetermine and refresh ourselves and move forward, leave the past behind, and start afresh. So today, I had a crazy morning this morning. I've been receiving emails. I swear, I received like 5 emails from different coaching clients, all asking me the same question. And I was like, what is going on here? And I realized it's full moon right now. So I don't know if you know this, but full moon actually has kind of drawing quality to it. It pulls things. And so for some reason it's been affecting people in a certain way that they're all emailing me with the same question. You know, some little things are a little bit different in each person, but the center thing has been the same, and I found this to be really quite interesting. So I kind of want to talk about it because I'm sure there's even more people going through this. So pretty much what I've been asked is how to deal with vulnerabilities and the feeling of vulnerability when you get onto a raw food diet. Everyone that ever gets onto raw foods will go through this at some point, I assure you, either through raw foods or if you're doing any kind of fasting, definitely. Okay, where suddenly, you know, like you've been feeling good, you're on a roll, everything's great, and then suddenly these emotions start coming up. Certain feelings start coming up that are not very pleasant, they're not comfortable, and it's not things from the outside. It's not like this not getting along with someone or hating your job or something like that. It's these things on the inside, these feelings of like not liking yourself, or these feelings of anxiety, low self-esteem, just seeing things in yourself that are just not very pleasant. And it can also be some past stuff too, some baggage that you're carrying that suddenly becomes exposed, and it's rough because it's not like you know what's going to happen at this certain time and you're ready to deal with it. It usually comes up at these weird times, and it can be very overwhelming, and a lot of times it throws people completely off their healthy lifestyle, and it's unfortunate because it's like this one moment where it's like everything just blows up, and suddenly you find yourself reaching for certain foods and even certain substances, whatever it is, to numb you out, to zone out, and to sort of distract you from what's going on. And the next thing you know it, either sometimes the next day you can pick yourself back up, but it happens a lot where a lot of times people fall off, and then they fall off hard, and then next thing you know, it's like a month goes by where they've had like just full-on junk food, and they've gained like 20, 30 pounds, and they feel worse than they've ever felt. And it's kind of like, you know, what happened? You know, it's like waking up from a really bad dream and realizing it's your reality. And I think the one thing that I want to emphasize is that a lot of times people feel like it's the raw foods that's creating it. It's like, you know, oh, I get onto this raw food diet, and then suddenly I start feeling these things that are really unpleasant, and it's because I'm on this cleansing diet. And it's like, no, it's you've always had these feelings. You've always been carrying around these emotions. It's just that you're no longer on numbing foods that are distracting you from you and what's going on inside you and your own relationship with yourself. You suddenly have to face yourself because you're suddenly becoming clear, and it's not always pleasant to see what's in front of you. But the beauty of it is that this is how you become who you want to become. This is how you live a great life. This is how you take your life as far as it can go and reach your highest potential. You need to go through this because this is what's going to clear out the past so you can move forward, and move forward in like a light way rather than carrying like a lot of baggage, because we've all been there where we've carried our baggage, and a lot of it gets way too heavy, and it's not worth carrying anymore. And I'll tell you, if you're on the junk food, if you're on the fried food, the sugary food, all of that, you're making the load heavier and heavier, and it's even harder and harder to deal with all the stuff that will come up. And it's like, use this right now as an opportunity to finally just break it once and for all. And the moment you start looking at it like, okay, you know what, expect the worst to come out. And when it does come out, just remember one thing, and this is what I remind myself all the time, is that as bad as it might feel at this moment, nothing stays the same. Nothing. And sometimes, like, we go through these moments where we just hate ourselves. I go through it all the time, where I'm just like, you know, I just feel terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And it's like overwhelmed by just a lot of negative thoughts and just, you know, low self-esteem or whatever it is. And the greatest thing that I've noticed is that, you know, at those moments, like, I start craving things and I start wanting like some sort of junk food or something. And then if I can just stop myself at that moment and be like, okay, you can crave it, but you don't necessarily need to be eating it, and ride that wave through, I realize how quickly it is to get to the other side and how easy it is to get to the other side of it. And you don't necessarily have to do anything, but just avoid doing those things that are going to numb you out. Because if you actually face those feelings, and maybe that means facing it by seeing it for what it is, or having a good cry, or calling up a friend, or writing in a journal, or talking to yourself. I talk to myself all the time, you know, and just let it out, feel it, see it, be it. And you know what ends up happening? You let it out for good. So you don't have to carry around this bag full of bad, you know, heavy weight of bad feelings. And these bad feelings are coming out because you need to be dealing with it. And the one thing I want to remind you is that things only come out in your life when you're ready to deal with it. You're perfectly equipped to feel what you need to feel. As bad as it feels, you can get through it. Things don't come up when you're not ready. You're strong enough to deal with it. But the main thing is use it as an opportunity to get through it, rather than reaching for things outside yourself to distract yourself from it. Because all it does, it snowballs, and it makes it bigger and bigger and bigger, and then suddenly you no longer have that one problem that you have to deal with, but then you've also got the problem of getting back into junk food and feeling lousy, and you know, it just gets bigger of a problem. So that's one thing. It's like, you know, being asked, okay, what do you do with the vulnerability? It's not only about dealing with the issue when it comes up, it's what you do around the issue. It's what you do in your daily life. The more good things you do for yourself in your daily life, the less that negative stuff is going to come up. If you're surrounding yourself by good things, good people, good food, good lifestyle, exercise, and dealing with your emotions, being open about your emotions, letting your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings, all that out, expressing yourself as much as possible, then when these moments of anxiety and fear and anger and resentment and jealousy and, you know, and low self-esteem come up, if you're already sort of got your sort of like your warrior tools of taking care of yourself, those negative things that you feel, they can't overpower you, because you're doing all this other great stuff that brings it down. So I really believe it's not so much dealing with the moment as much as is being just constantly building yourself and doing good things for yourself, because nothing ever lasts forever. Okay? And you'd be pleasantly surprised that sometimes when you just go through the vulnerability, you get to the other side and you look back and you go, you know what, that wasn't as bad after all. And you become a better person. Okay, so I'm wishing you guys a fabulous, fabulous day, and happy November, everyone. And if anyone's looking for coaching, contact me. All right, so I will see you tomorrow.